you don't even need Dallas and Philadelphia as the nighttime game to be close. The only two games you got yesterday, Stugotz, were the Ravens and the Ravens over here and the Browns over there, and everything else stunk except for a star quarterback in that league is more enraged than you've ever seen him. Travis Kelce's play, Taylor Swift's boyfriend, makes a play that would have been an all-timer for eternity.
Yep.
And it's turned over by the stupidity of the correct rule. Clearly offside, clearly needs to be a penalty, clearly should have been overturned. Chris Cody comes in here totally insane, and Patrick Mahomes, after the game, he's as angry as you have ever seen him.
Oh, I mean, the thing is, I'd rather let us play, man. Like, let us play the game. And then whatever happens, happens. Like, the whole throwing the flag and deciding the game one or another, that's what hurts me. That's why, like, last week I didn't say anything, because it's letting us play, man. Let us go out there and win the game. And I said I'd rather them let us play and go out there and see who wins. I mean, that's what you want as a competitor is you practice all week to go out there and try to win. And you want it to be about your team and that team and see what happens. You never want it to be – you don't want to be talking about this stuff after the game. And that's it, man. I'm not worried about if there was a flag on the next player or whatever, like not a flag. I want to go out there and play and then see what happens at the end, see what the score is, and then I can live with the results.
Patrick, we know you follow a lot of football. Do you feel like this is isolated frustration to you, or do you feel like it might be a league-wide problem as far as this entire?
The flag today was tough. Offensive offsides. It's something that, I mean, you as a like I said, elementary school, we talk about, you line up, you point to the ref, you're good, you're not good. If not, they come to you, hey, we talk, you need to get off the ball more, you need to be on the ball more. You have a discussion. I mean, that's the ref's job. I mean, you want to have an open discussion so that you can go out there and put the best product you can on the field. And for him to throw that flag, no explanation, no anything. And I saw the picture, and I mean, he probably is, barely offsides, but for him to take the game into his hands over a call like that doesn't affect the play at all, didn't affect anything. It's just tough, man. And like I said, man, that's a Hall of Fame tight end making a Hall of Fame play that won't be shown because we threw a flag for an offensive offsides. And so it takes away from not only this game and this season, but from a legendary career that Travis has had. And I mean, that hurts me because I know how hard he works for it.
He is so very obviously right, and he is so very obviously wrong. Because, Stugotz,
yeah,
that's not him angry. Angry was him after the game, restrained by teammates, and this is what I'm telling you is happening there, and it ain't that there was a call, and it ain't that it was a referee's fault. What's happening there is, hey, Patrick Mahomes, look what it looks like now for every quarterback in the league. It's really hard to play that game if everything doesn't go exactly right. Referees do kind of an amazing job spotting the ball correctly, which none of us would do correctly. We could spot the ball correctly. Your teammate cost you that game because of an elementary school mistake, and you're frustrated because it's really hard for you to get to 17 points now. And that's all projection. Everything that just happened there,
yep.
You just saw the real Patrick Mahomes, who's had his life made easy in football for a really long time.
And he's worried about Travis Kelce's career, and he wants the referees to ref a game in accordance to what they think is best for Travis Kelce's career. What a joke. Dan, he has lived a charmed NFL life. And the second thing stopped going his way. He's never had to play a playoff game on the road. He's likely, if they make the playoffs, going to have to do that this year.
And he knows his team's not good enough, and he knows his receivers are not good enough. Man, Stugotz, those receivers are terrible.
Yes, they are.
They are awful.
Right. But he won a Super Bowl with pretty much the same receiver core as he has.
There are so many more drops right now, Stugotz.
I know.
So many shitty plays.
But, Dan, here's the deal. Even with the call, and I understand, great play. We'll never talk about it. The best play in the history of sports that didn't happen. Okay? I get all of it.
Is it?
Well, I think it is,
It's
right?
the one from yesterday, yes.
Certainly the one from the weekend.
Certainly the one from yesterday.
Yes.
The 4 o'clock window.
I don't even know that we're not going to watch a highlight of that again. Don't we watch the highlight of him going, parallel to the ground, throwing that ball? And wasn't that an incompletion? And we still see that play all the time from him.
It wasn't an incompletion. Was it an incompletion? Was the play that?
I don't think that play counted.
Well, it didn't count, but it wasn't an incompletion.
Well, I mean, if it didn't count, it's not a completion.
I love this. Best plays that didn't count.
Well, there was also, who was the Dolphins player that went upside down, the fat lineman that went and he put the ball over the end zone, and like that's even his like profile pick, and that play didn't count either.
Yeah, I think the best play that never happened was the intercepted spike attempt.
Ooh.
That was great.
That was from last weekend. The best play from last weekend.
But, Dan, they had 2nd and 15. They're the best at 2nd and long, 3rd and long, 4th and long.
Used to be. They're not anymore.
You know, he's complaining they still had plenty of 3 opportunities to get the first down and go on and win that football game, and he didn't get it done. So you don't blame the referees for making the right call after the game.
I'd like to talk for a second about Stugotz, just how dreadful football was yesterday, but they gave us this one thing. We can argue, think about what you're watching on Sundays, that none of these teams can keep their quarterbacks healthy, even though you can't hit them in the head and you can't hit them low and you can't land on them and you can't do anything to them. None of them can stay healthy, and the one that we've conceded is the best in the league, suddenly people are talking about maybe he's not. And the reason they're doing it is because they lose a close game like that on a technicality. And he gets the media content game, Stugotz. I woke up this morning. I fell asleep for 10 minutes last night in the piece that I had of 72 hours.
Wow.
And I missed everything that was happening in Cowboys and Eagles. And when I got up this morning to find out, I had a hard time finding it because it was Mahomes, Chiefs everywhere. Like, had a hard time getting through it because the story of the day was quarterback icon, commercial spokesman, Super Bowl champion. Oh, he's whining like a loser. Patrick Mahomes feels like a loser, is acting like a loser, and he's hiding behind Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Well, I don't co-sign any of that, but Billy was right. It was an incomplete pass in the Super Bowl, the sideways throw that is one of the most famous pictures of Patrick Mahomes throwing a football. It was a great throw. No one caught it.
Almost intercepted, too. Could have been a horrible decision.
I can't believe
many of those,
funny if it was.
How many of those did Josh Allen have yesterday, by the way? Horrible decisions where he's fluttering the ball up totally recklessly.
I don't understand how it's not consensus that the Chiefs got screwed. The last 2 weeks, there's a no call on a clear pass interference call. That's no call. We're going to let him play. We're going to let the players decide it.
Right.
The next week, all right, if I'm going to admit that he was offsides, it's by a toe.
Right.
Or inches.
By a toe? His back foot was where the other receiver's front foot was. He was a full person ahead of where he was supposed to be.
If you look at where the ball is, you're judging it off this blue line. That is not a real line.
Chris, it's a real line. There's a lineman standing there saying, don't go over this line.
You know the blue line is not going across the field.
Yeah, it does.
We understand that.
I'm telling you that it is inches we're talking here.
Right.
And then that's a no call. So that's the call. We're calling that. It's a ticky-tack call to decide your game, and then a no call on a clear pass interference call.
It's the right call.
How much money did you have on this that you're so upset
Well, hold
about
on.
this?
I had the over.
Before you answer that, because you realize these losses help the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's what
right?
I mean. I'm rooting. As a Dolphins fan, I wanted the Chiefs
Be careful
to
there.
lose.
Be careful there. Helps the
You're a
Dolphins.
Chargers fan.
You do not want to see these Bills. You're going to have to beat them late in December, and you're going to have to beat them again if you beat them in December. Like, I'm not sure you want to see that team.
Everyone here is in agreement. We want that call. We want that flag called right there.
The flag was thrown before the result of the play. So, like, what happened after was irrelevant. It's not like they took the play away. Like, they had already made the decision that was going to happen.
We need an eye in, like, why is it that ESPN and these networks can get a referee who's watching from the sky and telling us the right call? Why is there not a guy talking to the referee in his ear? Why is there not a referee in the sky that's like, hey,
How
we
would
screwed
that
this
help
one up?
in this situation? This is what Carl Sheffer said after the game, and this was from the NFL Pool Report. It's one of those things we don't want to be overly technical on, but when it's in his alignment, he's lined up over the ball, that's something we are going to call as an offensive offside. So that's what the down judge saw. He saw that the alignment was over the ball, and that's what he ruled on the field. That's what he called.
Yeah.
The blue line.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not real?
I think he's super emotional right now, and he's lashing out when he's the one that's actually using the blue line out of everybody. I get it. It stinks, but it was the right call, and it was objectively hilarious that it was Kadarius Toney that did it when he was the one high stepping into the end zone.
So
Can we
great.
just for a second relish in our one and only Fast Twitch Energy Drink Player of the Week, Kadarius Toney, having 2 of these during an NFL season. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
We can't. I understand the emotion, and I know what's happening there is misplaced anger. It should be all directed at Kadarius Toney.
Billy, can you please get me real quick the stat line for Kadarius Toney when he was our sponsored Fast Twitch Player of the Week?
Had a game.
Keep in mind, a lot of what he did in that game won't show up in the box score.
No, but he had one of them was a drop that's not in the box score that was returned for a pick 6. So that will not be in there, but it's among the plays from that game.
Leon Lett better watch out. Chasing him like Don Beebe is Kadarius Toney.
Chris Cody, I'm worried about you, okay? I've never seen or heard you so fired up as you were about this one thing and everyone that's arguing about this one thing.
I just think it's clearly ticky-tack, and I just can't believe I'm the only one in here that's like, I don't want that called there.
No, Chris, I'm with you, and I'm with Patrick Mahomes when he says it doesn't really impact the result of the play. There's no real discernible advantage there. A couple of inches here or there, I'm with you, but the rule is the rule. I think they got way more screwed last week, and the emotion pouring out of him is not only how difficult it is for his offense to be in those games because he lived a very charmed life where everything came super easy for him, but it's just an amalgamation of all the things that have happened to the Kansas City Chiefs this season, and you turn your attention from Kadarius Toney squarely to Taylor Swift. I'm telling you, this is becoming a thing.
The refereeing this year has been really inconsistent. It's been something that a lot of NFL fans and reporters are talking about. It just feels like it's been very inconsistent, and there's been egregious calls like this. I think was probably ultimately the right call, but it did impact the result of the game, despite the fact that him being offside didn't impact the play at all, as Patrick Mahomes was saying. But like there was a call in the Thursday night game, which we didn't talk about last week, where the Steelers got the Patriots player to jump offsides on a punt, and they would have been able to get a first down and continue their drive and potentially tie or win the game. And instead, the ref called a false start on the punting team, and everyone on the field and everyone in the stadium and everyone watching on TV was like, that wasn't the right call. They called the long snapper for like snapping his head up.
Finally, we're getting the Steelers Pats.
Thank you. Yes. I've been waiting for 4 days to talk about this game.
Steelers are in the playoffs.
If the
season ended today, I can't understand how.
Give it a couple weeks.
Everyone else is broken, Stugotz.
My point is you can make jokes you could argue about the refereeing and these types of calls as much as you want. It doesn't, like, every single game has something like this in it. It's exhausting to bring it up every single time it happens because it just keeps happening. The officiating is not getting better. It's just, this is what we have to get used to as NFL fans, I think.
Week 1, Lions at Chiefs. Kadarius Toney had 5 targets, 1 reception, 1 yard. He also had 1 rushing play for -1 yard, so he had a grand total of 0 yards.
No, and the pick 6 that went through his hands.
Well, that doesn't show up in the box.
No, thank you.
Exactly.
Yes. Jessica, I'd like to get to the point that she's making, Stugotz, because I believe that what she's saying is right in spirit and in theory. The refereeing is wildly inconsistent, and all of us are getting mad about something every single week. Both very true. This is what I want to ask you guys, because everything out there seems like it's moving super fast. And like I said earlier, I'm surprised that they spot the ball as well as they do. Like, I would get that wrong all the time if I wasn't watching on television. I would just think it would be very hard to do. But the thing that I want to ask all of you, because I thought of this yesterday, I don't even know who it was, Stugotz. Somebody at the goal line, they kept stopping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Is his shin down before the ball crosses the goal line? Is the shin down or is it not down? Is an ass cheek down or is it not down? We watch it 100 times. All of us have money on these games. All of us have microscopes on these old guys. All of us are waiting for the Mahomes screw up. We're all breathing on their neck. It's all moving very fast. The question I want to ask you guys, what the hell are we doing? What the hell are we doing? Like, you're going to really do it like that? Is his shin down? Is it an inch? Is it 2 inches? Is it 3? You got it wrong, you old fuck. Like, you got it wrong. Like, is this really what we're doing? 700 replays. Was it an inch? Was it 3 inches? Hey, why didn't the referee know that was going to be one of the most amazing plays of all time before he threw that flag?
But, Dan, it's a game of inches. I mean,